Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you today with one simple question. What are the little things you do every single day? We often think that life-changing moments come from big decisions or grand events. But in reality, it's the small, consistent habits that shape our lives. I've learned that if you want to live a life full of purpose, joy, and peace, you need to be intentional with the habits you choose. I've had my share of struggles, my challenges, my setbacks, but I've discovered that the way we navigate our daily lives is the key to unlocking resilience, growth, and strength. So today I want to share with you 5 daily habits that can transform your life no matter where you start from. These habits are not just about productivity or success, they're about inner peace, self-love, and connection to the world around us. Now I want you to think for a moment. What would happen if you made these 5 habits a part of your daily routine? Imagine how your perspective would change, how your heart would open, and how your life would shift. These habits aren't meant to add stress to your day, they are meant to enrich it, to help you grow into the person you were always meant to be. Remember, it's not about perfection, it's not about doing everything right, it's about consistency, it's about showing up for yourself every single day with intention and with love. So today I challenge you, start small. Pick one habit and practice it every day. Slowly you'll see the ripple effect in your life. You'll be amazed at how small changes lead to extraordinary transformations. Gratitude is one of the simplest yet most profound habits that can completely transform our lives. It costs nothing, requires little effort, but its effects can be life-changing. If you stop for a moment and think about how often we focus on what's missing or what we don't have, you'll realize how easy it is to overlook the blessings that surround us every day. The truth is, we have a lot to be thankful for, yet our busy lives and the constant pressure to achieve more often prevent us from noticing the abundance that is already present. Practicing gratitude every morning is a simple, powerful habit that can shift our focus from scarcity to abundance, from frustration to contentment, and from discontent to joy. When we wake up each morning, it's easy to jump into the rush of the day, checking our phones, making to-do lists, thinking about deadlines and responsibilities. But in doing so, we often forget to take a moment to pause, breathe, and acknowledge the gifts that each new day brings. Starting your morning with gratitude is an intentional act that sets the tone for the rest of the day. It's a reminder to appreciate the small, often unnoticed things, the warmth of your bed, the breath in your lungs, the opportunity to start fresh. Even if the world feels heavy or uncertain, gratitude provides a grounding force that helps you reconnect to what truly matters. Gratitude isn't just about being thankful for the big milestones in life, like achievements or successes. It's about recognizing the everyday moments that might otherwise pass unnoticed. It could be the smell of your favorite morning coffee, the sound of birds chirping outside your window, or the quiet moments of stillness before the chaos of the day begins. These simple things are often overlooked, but they are part of what makes life rich and beautiful. By actively cultivating gratitude, we train our minds to look for the good, to notice the positives, even when life feels overwhelming. It's a mindset shift that can help us navigate challenges with greater ease and find peace amidst uncertainty. One of the reasons gratitude is so powerful is because it has the ability to shift our focus. When we focus on what we don't have or what's going wrong in our lives, we are more likely to feel stuck, frustrated, and disheartened. We tend to get consumed by what's missing, creating a sense of lack. But gratitude turns this focus around. It encourages us to notice what we already have, which helps us feel more content and fulfilled. In practicing gratitude, we recognize that we are enough and that what we have is already valuable. It's not about seeking perfection or chasing after the next big thing, but about finding joy in the present moment just as it is. In the morning, when you wake up, take a moment to sit up in bed and simply breathe. Close your eyes, focus on your breath, and mentally list 3 things you are grateful for. It can be anything, big or small: your health, the people you love, your job, the roof over your head, the fact that you woke up today. You don't need to make a long list. Even 1 or 2 things can be enough to shift your perspective. As you go about your day, keep the feeling of gratitude with you. You'll start to notice that the more you practice gratitude, the more things you find to be thankful for. It becomes a snowball effect. Once you start looking for the good, you'll see it everywhere. Gratitude becomes a lens through which you view the world. This practice of starting the day with gratitude has numerous benefits for both our mental and physical health. Research has shown that gratitude can increase happiness, reduce stress, and improve overall well-being. When we express gratitude, our brains release dopamine and serotonin, chemicals that make us feel good. These chemicals are the same ones released when we engage in activities that bring us joy, like spending time with loved ones or accomplishing something meaningful. In fact, studies have shown that people who regularly practice gratitude have lower levels of stress and anxiety, improved sleep, and a stronger immune system. This means that by making gratitude a daily habit, we're not just enhancing our mental outlook, we're also improving our physical health. Gratitude is also a powerful antidote to negativity. It's easy to get caught up in the negativity around us, whether it's bad news on the television, a difficult conversation with a colleague, or the constant pressure to do more and be more. But when we make gratitude a priority, it creates a buffer against this negativity. By consciously focusing on what's going well, we build resilience against life's challenges. We become less reactive to the difficulties that arise because we have already trained our minds to see the good. This doesn't mean we ignore problems or pretend that everything is perfect. It simply means we balance our perspective by giving equal weight to the positive things in our lives. Another incredible benefit of practicing gratitude every morning is that it fosters a sense of connection and belonging. Gratitude often involves acknowledging the people who contribute to our lives, whether it's a partner, a friend, a colleague, or even a stranger who offers a kind gesture. When we express gratitude for others, we strengthen our relationships and build a sense of community. We recognize that we are not alone in our journey. We are supported by the love and kindness of those around us. This sense of connection is especially important in times of struggle or uncertainty. It reminds us that we are part of something larger and that we are not isolated in our experiences. One of the most beautiful aspects of gratitude is its ability to transform our relationships with others. When we practice gratitude, we become more attuned to the needs and contributions of those around us. We begin to see others not as obstacles or sources of frustration, but as people who are part of our shared journey. Gratitude helps us appreciate the kindness of others, acknowledge their efforts, and celebrate their presence in our lives. This shift in perspective not only strengthens our bonds, but also creates an environment of positivity and love. When we show appreciation for those around us, we invite more love, kindness, and generosity into our lives. It's a beautiful cycle that feeds itself. As you begin to practice gratitude every morning, you might notice that your life starts to change in subtle ways. You'll feel more present, more content, and more at peace. You might start to feel more connected to the world around you and more aware of the beauty that exists in even the most ordinary moments. Gratitude has the power to transform our internal landscape, and as a result, it transforms how we engage with the world. We become more resilient, more positive, and more open to new experiences. Gratitude isn't a one-time thing, it's a daily habit that requires consistency and practice. The more we make it a part of our lives, the more natural it becomes. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. There will be days when it's harder to find things to be grateful for, but that's okay. The key is to keep going. Even on the tough days, gratitude is a muscle that needs to be exercised regularly. And the more we practice it, the stronger it becomes. With time, we'll find that we don't need to actively think about it as much. It will become a natural part of who we are. Starting each day with gratitude isn't just a habit, it's a way of life. The way we speak to ourselves has a profound impact on the way we experience life. Often we don't realize the extent of our inner dialogue, but it's one of the most influential forces shaping our emotions, actions, and overall mindset. Every day we talk to ourselves, sometimes kindly, sometimes harshly, but always constantly. The language we use internally can either propel us forward or hold us back, and it's within our power to choose the words we speak to ourselves. Speaking kindly to yourself isn't about ignoring your flaws or pretending everything is perfect. It's about being compassionate, patient, and understanding with yourself, especially during the moments when you feel most vulnerable or self-critical. How many times have you caught yourself saying something negative about your appearance, your abilities, or your choices? How often do you judge yourself harshly for mistakes or imperfections? Most of us have grown up in environments where self-criticism was encouraged, either overtly or subtly. We were taught to strive for perfection and to be our own toughest critics. While a little self-motivation and accountability can be helpful, the constant negative self-talk can become draining and counterproductive. Over time, it can erode our self-esteem, confidence, and even our overall sense of worth. The first step in speaking kindly to yourself is recognizing when you're being overly critical. Sometimes we don't even notice how much we put ourselves down. When you make a mistake, do you call yourself stupid or lazy? When you don't meet a goal, do you tell yourself that you'll never succeed? Or maybe when you face a setback, you think that it's a reflection of your personal failure. These thoughts are natural, but they aren't always helpful. In fact, they can often lead to a negative spiral where we become consumed by feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt. If you find yourself thinking this way, take a moment to pause and recognize that you don't have to continue with these thoughts. Instead, you can replace them with more compassionate, affirming statements. Imagine how you would talk to a friend who was struggling with the same challenges you face. Would you call them stupid or worthless? Of course not. You'd probably offer words of comfort and encouragement. You might remind them that mistakes are part of the learning process and that they are more than capable of handling setbacks. So why not extend the same kindness to yourself? Often we are kinder to others than we are to ourselves, but the truth is we deserve the same compassion and understanding. Speaking kindly to yourself also means acknowledging your strengths and accomplishments. We are quick to criticize ourselves, but how often do we take the time to recognize our victories, big and small? It's easy to downplay your achievements, thinking they aren't good enough or that you haven't done enough. But the truth is, every step forward is worth celebrating, no matter how small it may seem. Whether it's completing a task at work, helping a friend, or simply getting through a tough day, these actions deserve recognition. By acknowledging your strengths and accomplishments, you create a positive feedback loop where you become more motivated to keep moving forward. You start to see yourself as capable, competent, and deserving of success, which helps to build confidence and self-belief. When you speak kindly to yourself, you create a foundation of self-love and acceptance. This doesn't mean that you ignore your flaws or mistakes, it simply means that you are patient with yourself as you grow. Just like any relationship, the one you have with yourself needs care, attention, and nurturing. If you constantly berate yourself for every shortcoming, you'll never give yourself the space to grow and improve. Instead, when you practice self-compassion, you are more likely to take risks, try new things, and step outside of your comfort zone. You create an environment where mistakes are seen as opportunities for growth rather than signs of failure. In turn, this allows you to embrace life with more joy and enthusiasm, knowing that you are worthy of love and respect, just as you are. One of the biggest challenges we face in speaking kindly to ourselves is overcoming the perfectionist mindset that many of us carry. Perfectionism often leads us to believe that we are only worthy of love, success, or happiness when we meet certain high standards. We become so fixated on achieving perfection that we forget that being human means making mistakes, learning from them, and growing over time. Perfectionism can trap us in a cycle of self-criticism, constantly striving for an ideal that is unattainable. By releasing the need for perfection and embracing the idea that we are worthy regardless of our flaws or mistakes, we create the freedom to be ourselves with all of our imperfections. Another critical aspect of speaking kindly to yourself is learning to forgive yourself. We all make mistakes, whether they are small missteps or bigger decisions that we regret. However, holding on to guilt, shame, or regret only prevents us from moving forward. When you speak kindly to yourself, you give yourself permission to let go of these feelings and forgive yourself. Holding on to negative emotions from the past keeps you tethered to experiences that no longer serve you. Instead of dwelling on what went wrong, you can focus on what you've learned and how you can grow. Self-forgiveness doesn't mean excusing poor behavior or avoiding accountability. It simply means acknowledging your mistakes, learning from them, and giving yourself the grace to move forward. A powerful way to practice speaking kindly to yourself is through affirmations. These are positive statements that you repeat to yourself to reinforce self-love and self-belief. Affirmations can be tailored to your specific needs and goals, but they all share a common purpose: to shift your mindset from negativity to positivity. For example, you might tell yourself, "I am worthy of love and respect, I am enough just as I am, or I am capable of achieving my dreams." These statements help to rewire your brain, replacing self-doubt and negativity with self-confidence and positivity. The more you practice affirmations, the more natural it becomes to believe in your own worth. It's important to note that speaking kindly to yourself is not about ignoring your faults or pretending to be perfect. It's about acknowledging your mistakes and imperfections with compassion, understanding that you are a work in progress. It's about being patient with yourself when things don't go as planned and treating yourself with the same kindness you would offer to a loved one. It's about recognizing your intrinsic value and embracing the journey of personal growth, knowing that you are worthy of love and respect every step of the way. In a world that constantly demands more from us, it can be easy to fall into the trap of harsh self-judgment. But the truth is, speaking kindly to yourself is one of the most important acts of self-care you can practice. It creates a foundation of self-compassion and resilience, allowing you to navigate life with greater confidence, peace, and happiness. When you make a habit of treating yourself with kindness, you begin to see yourself not as your worst critic, but as your biggest supporter. And in doing so, you open the door to greater success, fulfillment, and inner peace. Movement is more than just a way to keep your body fit or burn off extra calories. It is an essential aspect of being human. Our bodies are built to move, and when we engage in regular physical activity, we experience a profound transformation not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, and even spiritually. We are constantly told that we need to exercise, but movement is so much more than following the latest fitness trend or trying to meet societal beauty standards. It is about honoring the body we have and recognizing the immense power it holds. Whether you dance, walk, stretch, practice yoga, or engage in some form of sport, movement connects you to your body, your energy, and your world. It is an act of self-care, a release of tension, and an invitation to live more fully. The idea that movement is simply about working out in a gym or training for a race is a misconception. In truth, movement is any activity that gets your body active and your energy flowing. This could be a walk in the park, stretching to ease stiffness, or even dancing around your living room. In the hustle of daily life, we often overlook the importance of moving our bodies. We sit at desks, stare at screens, and get caught up in routines that keep us still for hours. Yet, our bodies were never meant to be sedentary for long periods. Movement is a form of freedom, a way to release stagnant energy, combat stress, and reconnect with ourselves. The first step in embracing movement is simply to start. Many people assume that to benefit from movement, they need to commit to an intense exercise regimen. However, it's important to remember that movement doesn't have to be extreme to be effective. The key is consistency, not intensity. Just as we nourish our bodies with food, we need to nourish them with movement. Even light activities like walking or stretching can have a significant impact on our overall well-being. When we start small, we are more likely to create lasting habits that become a natural part of our daily lives. The goal is not to push your body to its limits, but to create a practice of movement that supports your health and enhances your quality of life. When we move, we not only engage our muscles, but also activate our minds. Physical activity has been shown to have numerous benefits for mental health. Exercise releases endorphins, the body's natural feel-good hormones, which improve mood and reduce feelings of anxiety and depression. Whether it's a gentle yoga session or a brisk walk through nature, movement helps clear the mind, reduce stress, and restore balance. It gives us a chance to disconnect from the noise of the world and reconnect with our thoughts and feelings. In these moments, we can process our emotions, breathe more deeply, and center ourselves. Movement becomes a form of meditation, a practice that helps calm the mind and brings us back to the present moment. Additionally, engaging in regular movement allows us to build a deeper connection with our bodies. We live in a culture where we are often disconnected from our physical selves. We prioritize productivity over well-being and push through discomfort in the name of achievement. But when we make time for movement, we give our bodies the attention they deserve. Whether it's feeling the stretch of a yoga pose, noticing the rhythm of your breath as you walk, or simply feeling the ground beneath your feet, movement fosters awareness. It invites us to be present in our bodies and listen to what they need. Often we don't realize the tension, stress, or fatigue that is building up inside us until we begin to move. Movement helps us release that pent-up energy, easing our bodies and restoring a sense of balance. But movement is not just about physical and mental health. It's also an act of self-expression. We each have a unique way of moving through the world, and engaging in movement can be a way to celebrate that individuality. Whether you choose to dance, run, swim, or cycle, the way you move can reflect your personality and emotions. When you dance, for example, you are not just moving your body to the beat of the music, you are expressing something that words can't capture. Movement gives us the freedom to express ourselves in ways that go beyond language. It allows us to release our creativity, embrace our individuality, and let go of inhibitions. When we move freely, we are reminded that our bodies are not just tools for survival, but instruments of self-expression and empowerment. One of the most beautiful aspects of movement is how it invites us to reconnect with the world around us. It brings us into the present moment, encouraging us to notice the details of our surroundings that we might otherwise overlook. Taking a walk outside, for instance, allows us to connect with nature, feel the air on our skin, and appreciate the beauty in the simple things, whether it's the rustling of leaves or the warmth of the sun. Human connection is one of the most powerful forces in the world. It is something that we all crave, yet so often we overlook its importance in our daily lives. The relationships we form with others have the potential to shape our happiness, our growth, and our overall sense of well-being. While it's easy to get caught up in the rush of our own individual lives, focused on our goals, tasks, and responsibilities, true fulfillment comes from the bonds we share with others. Building meaningful connections is not just about being around people, but about truly engaging with them, being present, and fostering deep, authentic relationships that bring joy, support, and a sense of belonging. In today's fast-paced, technology-driven world, it is easy to feel isolated, even when we are surrounded by others. Social media and digital communication often create a false sense of connection. We might be friends with hundreds or even thousands of people online, but how many of those connections are truly meaningful? How many are based on genuine conversations, shared experiences, and mutual care? True human connection goes far beyond likes, comments, and status updates. It's about the real, face-to-face moments where we look someone in the eye, listen to their words, and share our own in return. It's in the laughter, the tears, the shared experiences that make us feel seen, heard, and valued. Making time to connect with others is essential for our mental, emotional, and physical health. Research has consistently shown that strong social connections are linked to longer, healthier lives. People who have close-knit relationships tend to experience lower levels of stress, lower blood pressure, and a stronger immune system. They also experience greater happiness and emotional well-being. Connection helps combat loneliness, which can have a serious impact on our health and happiness. Loneliness has been linked to depression, anxiety, and even an increased risk of premature death. On the other hand, meaningful connections provide us with a support system, people we can turn to during times of joy and times of hardship. They help us feel safe, understood, and loved, and they allow us to be vulnerable without fear of judgment. The act of connecting with others also has the power to open us up to new perspectives and experiences. When we engage in deep, authentic conversations, we not only learn about others, but also about ourselves. Listening to someone's story, hearing their thoughts and feelings, and sharing in their experiences broadens our understanding of the world and our place in it. We begin to see things from different angles and challenge our own assumptions. Connection fosters empathy, which allows us to approach life with a deeper sense of compassion and understanding. The more we connect with others, the more we become aware of the diversity of human experiences, and the more we learn to respect and appreciate those differences. True connection also requires vulnerability. It's easy to keep walls up, to protect ourselves from getting hurt, or to hide behind a mask of perfection. But real connection happens when we allow ourselves to be authentic, to share our true selves, and to be open to the vulnerabilities of others. It's about being honest with our emotions, our fears, and our desires. When we let go of the need to appear perfect, we open the door to deeper, more meaningful relationships. We invite others to do the same, creating an environment of mutual trust and understanding. It's in this space of vulnerability that we find true intimacy, where we can be ourselves, flaws and all, and be accepted and loved for who we truly are. Moreover, building connections is not just about focusing on what we can get from others, but also what we can give. One of the most fulfilling aspects of human connection is the ability to support and uplift one another. Sometimes simply being there for someone, offering a listening ear, or giving a kind word can make all the difference in their life. When we reach out to others and make them feel seen and heard, we not only improve their lives but also enhance our own. Acts of kindness and generosity create a ripple effect, spreading positivity and fostering a sense of community. When we connect with others from a place of selflessness and care, we build a network of support that can withstand challenges and adversity. It's also important to note that connection isn't just limited to our relationships with others, it extends to our connection with ourselves and with the world around us. Self-connection is just as vital as connecting with others. When we are in tune with our own thoughts, feelings, and needs, we are better able to connect with others in a meaningful way. Taking time to understand ourselves through introspection, self-reflection, or simply being present in the moment allows us to be more authentic and open in our interactions. When we are comfortable in our own skin, we can engage with others in a way that is grounded, genuine, and nurturing. Equally important is our connection with the world around us. Nature, art, music, and other forms of expression all offer opportunities for connection that go beyond human interaction. These forms of connection help us tap into something larger than ourselves, providing a sense of purpose, creativity, and peace. Whether it's taking a walk in the woods, listening to a piece of music that moves us, or admiring a work of art, these experiences help us feel connected to the universe and to the shared human experience. They remind us that we are part of something greater and that our lives are interconnected in ways we may not always see. In order to build meaningful connections, we must be intentional. In a world that constantly demands our attention, it's easy to let our relationships slip into the background. We get caught up in the busyness of life and forget to prioritize the people who matter most. But connection requires effort. It requires taking the time to reach out, to check in, to listen, and to be present. It's about making the choice to show up for others and to allow them to show up for you. Whether it's scheduling time for a coffee with a friend, picking up the phone to call a family member, or making an effort to meet new people, connection takes conscious action. Sometimes connection means stepping outside of our comfort zones. It requires us to be open to new people and experiences, even when it feels uncomfortable or unfamiliar. We may find ourselves in situations where we don't know anyone or where we have to push past our own insecurities. But these moments of discomfort are often where the most profound connections happen. By being brave enough to put ourselves out there, we open ourselves up to new opportunities for growth and understanding. It's also important to remember that connection is not a one-way street. It's a two-way exchange that requires mutual effort. If we want others to connect with us, we must be willing to engage with them wholeheartedly. This means actively listening, being present, and showing genuine interest in their lives. It's about building a foundation of trust, respect, and care where both parties feel valued and understood. Strong connections are built on a foundation of mutual respect and reciprocity. Building meaningful relationships is one of the most rewarding aspects of life. The connections we form with others enrich our lives in countless ways. They provide us with joy, support, understanding, and growth. They help us navigate the challenges of life and celebrate its victories. In a world that often feels disconnected and divided, the ability to connect with others is more important than ever. It's in our relationships that we find true fulfillment and meaning, and it's through our connections that we experience the beauty and power of the human spirit. Gratitude is one of the most transformative forces we can embrace in our daily lives. It is an emotion, an attitude, and a practice that has the potential to change our perspective, shape our experiences, and improve our overall well-being. Gratitude doesn't require grand gestures or monumental events to be meaningful. It's about recognizing and appreciating the small moments, the little blessings, and the simple things that make life beautiful. It's about shifting our focus from what is lacking to what is abundant in our lives. Gratitude is not just a reaction to receiving something, it's an active choice to see the good even in difficult times. When we choose to focus on gratitude, we invite positivity, joy, and peace into our lives. At its core, gratitude is an acknowledgement of the goodness in our lives. It can be as simple as appreciating a warm cup of coffee in the morning, the laughter of a friend, or the beauty of a sunset. It's a recognition that, despite the challenges we may face, there are always things to be thankful for. When we practice gratitude, we train our minds to notice the positive aspects of life rather than dwelling on what's going wrong. This shift in focus can dramatically improve our mood, increase our resilience, and help us maintain a sense of hope even during difficult times. It doesn't mean ignoring the struggles we face, but rather balancing them with an appreciation for the good things that still exist. Gratitude has a profound effect on our mental health. Studies have shown that people who regularly practice gratitude experience lower levels of stress, anxiety, and depression. By focusing on what we have rather than what we lack, we begin to feel more content, more at peace with our circumstances. Gratitude helps us reframe our experiences, allowing us to find meaning and value in even the most challenging moments. When we cultivate gratitude, we are less likely to get caught in negative thinking or become overwhelmed by setbacks. Instead, we approach life with a sense of appreciation that helps us cope with adversity and setbacks with greater resilience. Practicing gratitude also strengthens our relationships with others. When we express gratitude toward the people in our lives, we deepen our connections and build a sense of trust and mutual respect. A simple thank you, a thoughtful note, or an acknowledgement of someone's kindness can go a long way in showing appreciation and reinforcing positive bonds. Gratitude creates a cycle of positivity, where acts of kindness and appreciation are exchanged, leading to stronger, more fulfilling relationships. People feel valued when their efforts and contributions are recognized, and expressing gratitude fosters a sense of belonging and connection that enhances our social bonds. One of the most powerful aspects of gratitude is that it shifts our mindset. It encourages us to stop focusing on scarcity and to embrace abundance. Instead of worrying about what we don't have, gratitude helps us recognize and appreciate what we do have. This shift in mindset can lead to greater satisfaction and happiness. When we are grateful, we tend to experience more positive emotions, and we are more likely to attract positivity into our lives. It's as if gratitude acts as a magnet, drawing more things to be thankful for. This doesn't mean that everything in life will be perfect, but gratitude helps us see the potential for good in every situation, no matter how difficult it may seem at first. Furthermore, gratitude helps us cultivate a sense of mindfulness. When we are grateful, we become more present in the moment. Instead of rushing through life, distracted by worries or future concerns, we take the time to pause and appreciate the here and now. Gratitude helps us slow down and savor the small moments, such as a hug from a loved one, the warmth of the sun on our skin, or the sound of birds chirping in the morning. These simple pleasures are often overlooked in the busyness of life, but when we practice gratitude, we begin to notice them more and find joy in their presence. Mindful gratitude allows us to fully experience the richness of life as it happens, fostering a sense of peace and contentment. Gratitude also has physical benefits. Research has shown that practicing gratitude can improve sleep quality, boost the immune system, and lower blood pressure. By reducing stress and promoting positive emotions, gratitude has a calming effect on the body.